Well, good morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Jeff.
You didn't say Jeffrey this time
Good morning, Jeffrey.
because you said that this music helps you feel like you want to say Jeffrey rather than Jeff.
It does. But I was taking a drink of water, and you started quickly, and I was finishing the swallow, so I only got to Jeff.
Hi, fellow streakers. How are you?
Good morning, everybody.
We were just talking about how when we start the podcasts, one of the ways that Jamie and I operate is I kind of start thinking when the microphone turns on.
Jamie and I operate. Let's adjust
I know. I
bit.
said I do. I do. Now, Jamie
Yes.
doesn't operate that way. Jamie looks at me like, what is he going to say next?
Jeff is a rare person who can think more clearly when he gets in front of a microphone or in front of a group of people. So often...
So if you see me just carrying around a microphone, you know it's because I need to do some thinking.
That's funny because we had a picture show up on our little Facebook portal the other day, and you were holding one of our children when they were younger, and you're like, what is that in my hand? And I said, it's a microphone.
I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Which child was it? Was it Chance or Bowen or Ace?
Bowen.
It might have been Ace.
Might have been Ace. It was a long time ago.
Wow. So that is and I was complimenting you because you are so great at following whatever thought I come up with, and also not only following but also redirecting when we need to.
I agree.
I mean,
I've gotten
you do a great
really
job.
good at doing that with you.
You are fantastic
Years
at
of
it.
practice and a couple big public experiences.
Well, one public experience in particular, it was Christmas.
Yep.
And we were responsible for the Christmas show, or I was, I think.
You were in charge of it. I was support, like I
you usually
enjoy
are.
being.
That's right. And we had a technical malfunction, and that technical malfunction was causing us to pause in the whole program. And so I, in my brilliance, my absolute utter brilliance, looked at Jamie. And by the way, there's probably about 100 people in the room.
Yeah.
I looked at Jamie and I said, will you come up and say a few words just while I get this taken care of?
And I looked at you and I'm like, so I start walking up there and you hand me the mic and you said, just stall.
I know.
I'm like,
it was
just
bad.
stall?
It was
That's
bad.
what you want me to do?
That's
I
it.
mean, out of the audience, you called me up. I'm technical support. I'm not the person in front of everybody.
I know.
And do you want to know what I did?
And
I
she
got
did
up in front
fantastic.
of
now,
all those
this is what
people.
she said. I love this.
I got up in front of all those people and I said, I'm not you. I can't do this. In the microphone. That's what I did.
And
but I learned a huge
stalled right at
lesson.
that point, and gratefully someone else came up who
someone
helped you
else came
out.
up and helped.
It was
But
fantastic.
you know what I learned? That was a very pivotal moment because I learned something really important, people. And maybe streaking would have helped me catch on to this quicker. All I had to do was to stand up there and point out all the people that had worked hard for this particular event and thank them.
Right.
I could have spent 5 or 7 minutes talking about the different people and the different things that they had done to make this event possible and thank them.
Right.
And that would have given you enough time to fix the technical difficulty and make it happen.
Yeah.
So from that experience, I learned that if ever I'm called upon impromptu, quickly, that to remember to be grateful.
Just have gratitude.
Have gratitude. Look around and see if there's people out there that I can say thank you to for a brief moment. And so it would ended up being a very pivotal experience. But in the moment, I was very angry with you.
I think there was a shirt that was given you for Christmas that year that said, that had a
Somebody in
picture of
the
me on there and
audience-
said, I'm not you, or was you a picture of you? I'm not sure what it was.
It was a picture of you on a shirt they gave me that said, I'm not you. Somebody made a shirt out of that experience, you guys. But it's
this relates to luck. We were talking about luck this month. I was going to say this March. March is the month that we're in, and we're going to talk about luck. And as you talked about, getting up in front of someone and having in your mind what you could have done, in other words, going to a mental model that was, you know what, I'm just going to go to gratitude. That comes through practice and through training. And what is practice and training other than being consistent, and what is consistent other than having a streak?
Exactly.
How'd you like that? That was a nice little walk down the path, huh?
Totally.
Streaking is the process of setting up successful streaks. And had you, like, for example, I think of your streak right now of get and receive feedback, maybe that would have prepared you a little bit more.
Well, if nothing else, that experience would have helped me to accept the feedback that I got instead of being so angry and frustrated about it. But that's one of my...
I think everyone right now out there is not thinking that you were the one that
I know, they're blaming you.
That's exactly right. I think they're saying...
Maybe there's a few rare people that would have been like...
Has she been married to him for 30 years? That would have been it. That would have been over right there at that moment. Because isn't it Jerry Seinfeld that says The worst fear is public speaking. Like the number one fear is public speaking, and then number 3 is death.
Yeah.
So you'd rather be the one
You'd
in
rather
the
be
coffin
dead than the one
giving the
funeral.
eulogy.
Yes. That's one of the things that I have really grown to appreciate about streaking is that it takes things from this unconscious level to this conscious place, so that in those moments, would I have been more prepared? Would I have been in a better situation if I had had a streak that was to, look for something I'm grateful for every day?
Yeah.
Would I have
I think that's a great streak too, by the way. And by the way, I just want to say thank you, fellow streakers. There have been so many of you who have written us thank you notes. And I feel that it's probably part of a streak that you have. And I feel so honored to be one of the recipients, and I know you do too, Jamie, about one of the recipients for that particular streak, to have a thank you note out there and to write a thank you note at least one time weekly, or a thank you note at least one time daily, or say thank you. Maybe it's not a note, but say thank you, or a text one time daily. Such a significant streak, which just before we get started, I know you have an article that we're going to go through and talk a little bit about. Before we do that, just quickly, I wanted to say thank you also if you're joining us and you're new to streaking. This is your first foyer into streaking. You are just now dipping your toe in the water. We've been doing this for 6 years as far as streaking is concerned. The book has been published for almost 6 months, not quite.
September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 8 months.
7 months. 7 months. Okay, so just over 6. So March is 6 or March is 7?
It was the end of September.
Okay.
Don't ask me to do this.
I don't know.
You on the air. You're handing me the microphone again.
Thank you, everyone.
I just want to say thank you for listening.
What this podcast is about is it's Jamie and I have conversations about streaking. It's all based in the methodology of streaking, which is a book that is published and available out there on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble. It's also Kindle books and Apple iBooks.
It's on Audible.
We had a fun time doing that one. All of this is based in the methodology that we've been uncovering over the last 5-6 years, and it has done amazing things in our lives as well as the lives of those who give it a try. Streaking is, all right, the simple practice of conscious, consistent actions that create
life-changing results.
That is streaking. And the other definition for streaking that I have is streaking helps you set up successful streaks. And what is a streak? Yeah. Did you not know I had that definition?
No, I didn't. Keep going.
Yeah. So streaking helps you set up successful streaks. So streaking are the laws that help you set up successful streaks, which laws are: 1, make it laughably simple.
Emphasis on the laughably. Needs
absolutely.
to be really simple.
2, no record, no streak.
Because it's so simple, you're going to forget you did it, and you need to keep a record that you've done it and that it makes a difference.
And it's the record of self-credibility.
Yep.
And 3, create a community. Now, the last 2, so laughably simple, that's one that you are going to work on, and Jamie and I often say that that's probably the most difficult one.
It is. In fact, I had a friend that I just reached out to the other day, and I asked how her streaks were going, and she goes, "I've lost them all. In fact, I'm not doing anything of discipline at all in my life." And my first thought was looking back to when she had talked a little bit about her streaks, and I thought she made goals.
Hard. She made goals.
She got set goals.
Yeah.
They weren't streaks.
They weren't streaks.
Way too hard.
Streaks are so simple, there's no reason not to do them.
Yep.
Because the focus is on how long you can do that thing. And when you do it long enough, you will start to see significant success in your life in all the areas of who you want to be. So that's the final tenet, is who do you want to be? And you set your streaks to become that person. So that is, if you're new to streaking, and those of you who have been with us a long time, thank you for allowing us to elaborate a little bit more on the methodology. That is what we do in the podcast, is talk about the application of streaking.
I feel like streaking is the how to all the whats. So
Yeah.
in other words, we give a lot of whats we should be doing, and streaking is oftentimes the how to implement that, how to start, how to make that what an actual part of your life.
That was so good. The other thing that helps with this is the app. So the one more thing that we have is the streaking app. And the streaking app helps you keep record of your streaks, gives you a place to put who you want to be and line your streaks up behind who you want to be, and also gives you a community. So that was just I wanted to take that because we get new listeners all the time, and I think it's probably important to just give a little bit of established
and
what
I feel
it is
like
we
we
do on
always,
this.
a reminder of what the 3 laws are. We can't say it enough because even after doing this for 6 years, there's still times that I have to tell myself, okay, it needs to be laughably simple, and the record is important. I've got to keep that record.
Yep.
And then the community has become something that I value and cherish.
Huge, because of all the people that we've been able to meet and the streakers that are out there. So thank you for being a part of this and part of this movement. It is getting bigger all the time, and it grows one streaker at a time. Just give it a shot for 100 days, set a streak. And by the way, just take a look at the methodology, the book on how to set that streak. And it's very, very helpful. Our own son said to us, I grew up with you guys. And when I read the book, I finally understood what it was you were saying.
Yeah, that was funny. We've been doing this and talking about this. Well, especially when you're writing the book, all you do is talk about it nonstop.
Right.
But it wasn't until, which is part of the reason that I think writing is important, because it does force you to really put those thoughts concisively. Is that a word? To make those thoughts concise.
Concisively? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'd have to look it up. It's a good question. So that brings us to our topic of the day, which is luck.
Luck. How to, I don't know what, create your own, capitalize when it comes your way.
The way that I have it this way is how to get a lucky break.
How to get a lucky break.
So what do you have? What do you have for us, Jamie?
Well,
I know
the
that
first
you've been
thing is,
looking at it.
We wanted to read I found an article was sent to me that I really enjoyed reading, and it was great because one of the suggestions, he has 6 suggestions of things that we can do to help.
And who is he? Do you have it right there? Is he at the bottom? Is it at the bottom? Oh, you've got it right there.
His article was called How to Make Your Own Luck, and his name is Jake Wilder. And I think we quoted him in one of our other podcasts briefly, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about the article. But where I wanted to start...
And I will post in the notes a link to the article.
Okay. And I keep throwing the paper that I need down. Because the subtitle of it, 6 Ways to Stop Leaving Success to Chance, which I thought was great.
You could just put it right here.
Okay, there we go.
Where we just put it right there. There you go.
So one of his 6 ways was helping others. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but that's because I wanted to read something. And he talks about Zig Ziglar. And I think I mentioned this in one of our other podcasts, how you can have everything in life you want.
Love Zig Ziglar.
One
of my favorite.
He is one of your favorites.
He was like the original motivational speaker. He was so phenomenal.
Ziglar really his full? Is that his real name?
I believe so. I'd have to look, but I mean, you'd think I know a little bit more about him. You know what? I'm going to find that out.
Because how great to have a name, Zig Ziglar.
I know.
I mean,
Zig Ziglar.
You should be a professional speaker if you're going to have the name Zig Ziglar.
Absolutely. And he was amazing. When we went to the Success Conference that I saw him on, Jamie keeps looking at the time because I keep taking tangents and going back. I'm coming back.
Go ahead.
Sorry. He was so profound and he only spoke, I think it was maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes total.
He's the one that really got you wanting to be in front of people.
Absolutely. He is just so profound in the way that he was able to weave a story and help you learn a principle. So he was saying,
you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. But I loved that. But the writer of this article, so this article is published on Medium, and he says, thousands of writers publish articles every day on Medium. They put all of their thoughts and knowledge into the world with the express interest of helping other people, everything they know online for free. So I loved that he, as we share what we've learned and from our experiences, other people learn. And as other people learn, we learn as well. And so I just thought it was so great that he talked about, I'm here writing this article about things that I've learned and sharing it with the world because I want to. And we're having the opportunity to learn and grow and take what we've learned and build on what he's learned so that we're all building and learning and growing.
You know, I look at what he's done in this particular article because he talks about, 6 practices for success?
Yes, 6 things you can do.
6 ways to stop leaving success to chance. Here's a saying that I learned from my buddy Craig Christensen, who we had on the podcast a little while ago. And he said, information is cheap. You can get it anywhere. Everyone has access to information. And in fact, today, information is so prolific, you can drown in the amount of information that is out there. Information is cheap. Insights, however, are invaluable. And what I see with what Jake has done, as well as other writers, is they have taken what a lot of other people have written and put them into an article and made them an insight that is invaluable.
Right.
They're taking and putting it through a different lens so that I can see it from a different angle. And what I see is Jake, and by the way, I just looked up Jake, and he has several articles on how to improve what it is that he is, or how to improve your life and how to be successful. He has several articles on those things. And my thought was, I'll bet he has a streak of publishing at least one article weekly or one article monthly, something like that. It's laughably simple for him. And by the way, that's where laughably simple is. It's defined by you.
It is, and that's such an important principle that you're the only person that can decide what your laughably simple is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at another person and say, "Wow." People have to decide their own laughably simples. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Huge. And when you decide that, whatever it is, your laughably simple is yours to keep. And so I look at Jake, and Jake may have a streak of published one article daily, one article weekly, one article monthly. I know that Seth Godin, who gratefully endorsed the streaking book, he has a streak, and it's now over 4,000 days old, of writing at least one blog post daily. If you go to his his blog post, Seth Godin, you'll see a new one every single day, and that is part of the creating your luck, I think.
Yep. I was looking for this quote that I found. This is it. So is it under Mastery Technique? One of the things that the quotes in here was by Scott Adams, who is the artist for Dilbert, the cartoon Dilbert.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. And the quote that he gave is, "I figured my competitive edge was creativity. I would try one thing after another until something creative struck a chord with the public. Then I would reproduce it like crazy. In the near term, it would mean one failure after another. In the long term, I was creating a situation that would allow luck to find me." And I think I might have mentioned this quote on the podcast previously, too. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But as I was reading it this time, I thought it interesting that he considered, basically it sounded like he had the methodology of a streak. I don't know if he had keep a record of it, but he recognized, I need to be doing things consistently. I need to be putting stuff out there. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to me that he still considered those things failures. That in order to help himself feel like, okay, I failed at almost everything, but I still won. It made me realize that I'm like, it's interesting how much we look at putting something little out there, being consistent, because it doesn't go big when we think it should or all the time. We look at those as maybe failures.
And I think that is looking at the accomplishment as the testament that you are a success, rather than looking at the input that you're a success. Because what he did and what he has is comic strips. And if you were to look at it and distill it down into streaking, into the laws of streaking, 1, he did 1 comic strip daily, at least. 2, he had a record of it. The comic strip was the record of it. And 3, he was creating a community around it. He was sharing that. He was putting it out there with the world. And oftentimes when the community doesn't immediately respond, you think, oh, I'm failing. Because if you're looking for the response of the community to be the judgment of your success, it's the wrong measure.
Right.
The right measure is that you're doing it every single day, and how long you can keep that going is the right measure of success.
And maybe I look at it and I'm like, maybe there's 2 branches of this tree, and we're only focusing on the one branch, which is the success failure. And thinking that something is a failure until other people decide it's a success. And could we look at the other branch, like you said, could the consistency be a part of that success? Okay, everything that I produce is not going to be quality.
Right.
That's a truth.
Quality is the enemy of consistency. I'm just telling you, people. Quality is the enemy of consistency, because it's fragile too. When you look at someone that says, just start doing it. And the first person that says, well, that's not quality enough, what do?
Shuts you down.
Immediately shuts you down.
Because
I'm not going to do it.
It's a hard thing to define, quality. And quality is an interesting thing too, because it's continuing to improve. I mean, what was quality 10, 15 years ago isn't quality anymore. we've improved, we've gone past that. So that measurement of quality is always improving. And we want it to be. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
But it can really shut you down when you feel like you have to be producing quality all the time.
All the time.
So I look at it and I think, could we have this place where, yes, there's things we're putting out there that according to the world, they weren't successful. But can I look at that and say, but I produced something and I learned from that,
I think
and
that's
there's
what
success
streaking is.
in that.
I guess I don't look at them as two different branches. I look at them as the same road.
Right.
It's maybe two sides of the same coin. It's the idea that the success is in the consistency, and whatever the people, whatever is judged at, the accomplishment, whatever that is, that doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm consistently doing it. And by the way, as I consistently do that, I feel better about myself. I feel that I'm successful every single day.
Right. I love that. I was trying to find this place that the one that talked about the dead ends. And
is it at the end
there?
now?
I was trying to find it because he talked about how in having this, you need to accept that there's going to be dead ends.
Yeah.
And I can't find the quote now.
And while she's looking for that quote, the thing that I look at with the dead ends is sometimes people may ask, is a streak, if you're obeying the laws of streaking and you've got a streak that you're doing, however, it may not be producing the result that you want it to produce, or it's not, for some reason, it doesn't seem right. Do I just keep doing it because I'm streaking?
Right.
All right, you better do it quick. I think you found the quote.
So he says, in order to have creativity, you have to allow for dead ends to happen. And we talked about this. You had shared a story that you had heard about a grandson and his grandfather that had gone fishing at the lake.
Yeah, and it was, to get to the lake was a really long path, road. They drove the truck out. It started to be dusk. They felt like they needed to go home, so they got back in the truck and started driving back, but forgot which way they needed to go, and they came to a fork in the road. And so they, being people of faith, prayed about it and asked the Lord which direction to go. And they felt that they should go left, so they went left and hit a dead end. And so they turned around and went right, and right took them all the way home. And so the grandson asked the grandfather, why did we get led down the wrong road? And what the grandfather said to the grandson is, I think we needed to know what the wrong road was before it got dark, and we didn't have enough gas to go down the wrong road, or to go down the right road and start questioning ourselves and turn around to go back and go down the wrong road and realize that that was the wrong road, and then turn around again.
Right.
So we went down the wrong road first so that then we could get to where we needed to be. Cool story, huh?
Yes. So this idea that dead ends, that you can be led to a dead end and it can help you know. And sometimes in streaking, you may look at it and be like, okay, I've learned a lot from that. And that was a dead end, and I'm going to take it to another direction. With confidence now.
And that's where you can see when luck is waving at you, is because you've been down the dead ends and now you're heading toward where luck is going to give you success.
Yep.
Well, we've enjoyed the conversation with you. If you'd like to ask us any questions or give us some thoughts and ideas around the streaks that you have to get lucky, let us know. Jeffrey, Jeffery, at streakingmastery.com.
Or Jamie, Jami, at streakingmastery.com.
Until we talk next time.
Keep streaking.
Become a better you. It's the small and simple things that make you grow into what you're hoping